Stop it, I know it is.
All right, so the room. I would entertain a motion to seal the minutes of the non-public session.
I would like to move that we seal the minutes of the non-public session.
Is there a second for that motion? Second by Christie. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that was Barbara.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to use the service of the background music, but yes, aye.
Okay, got Barbara and Patty, so that is 7-0-0.
Yeah, aye.
Okay. Unanimous motion by all board members to seal the non-public minutes of the non-public session. That brings us to the next item on our agenda, which is a consideration of their revisions to our charter. And I appreciate everybody's willingness to come out here and help work through this as we get ready for our potential review by the state board for charter renewal. We've got them posted here on the wall for the folks and to go through. And I will do my best to lead the discussion as we go through this.
I need a handout.
As we go through.
Give me a handout or a link.
The beginning of the revisions occur right after the table of contents. There's some updates to contact information, just in order to bring things up to date. And frankly, most of the things that are in here are simply recognition of lessons learned over 5 years of being a charter school and getting ready for the next 5 years to modernize our charter to accommodate some of the operational items that we've adopted over the years. Many of these charter revisions have already been reviewed by the board in past meetings and considered. They generally flow up from the teachers and the classroom, and they've been presented to us at various times over the meetings that we've had from those various individuals and departments. The next change that I would like to call everyone's attention to is on page 5 of the existing charter. All of these are highlighted in yellow as a matter of a little formality. We've taken out the abbreviation TFA throughout the document and put the Founders Academy. At the bottom of this page, you see the student advisory and morning meetings have been identified as roundtable meetings, which is in operation, what we've done all along. In section B, there's a little bit more description about the roundtable having a syllabus for each grade and including current events and community building within the school. A little bit further down the page, there's some corrections and some changes to the frequency of meetings where there was once a requirement for twice a week, 15-minute assemblies to indicate that the students will meet for assemblies. There are some various changes that amount to essentially wordsmithing throughout item 7, removal of commas and dashes, changing of capitalizations and that sort of thing. In item 9, there's an indication students will pursue a program of required courses, taking out to whatever extent possible and putting in whenever possible. Again, these are more wordsmithing kinds of changes. The next significant change is in section B, which deals with committees. And we've added the development of additional standing board committees, which may consist of finance, personnel, policy, and the parent advisory committee. That is on, let's see, page 8 are some of those changes to the committees in the committee structure.
Can you go live? It's not letting me do it.
There are some changes listed in the previous paragraph. I don't want to take everybody's time to kind of force our way through some of these things, which are merely clarifications or updates that really reflect what the practices have always been, or are simply wordsmithing. Focusing on some of the substance as we get into the committees section. There's that discussion that I had mentioned before. With the standing committees that are going to be developed, and then it indicates the board will strive to maintain all legally required policies and implement a review through the policy committee as needed.
Ready?
Yep, Barbara.
Oh, so
I'm sorry.
It's recording.
Genius discussion. Okay.
2 minutes, sorry.
No problem. Going into section C, the methods by which trustees and their terms are determined. There are some changes in there to reflect that when this was originally drafted, we were starting from the beginning, and now going forward, you'll stagger terms based on ongoing terms. So first-year trustees will be appointed for a 1 or 2 year term. Was a change that was added in here, so that there isn't an opportunity for first-year trustees to be appointed for 3-year terms. The board members may serve consecutive terms if voted by a board majority. That's in here. On to the top of page 9, there's a little bit of clarification on the title of our top administrator of the school, where the charter had called that role director, and obviously in our past we have for a number of years called that role the dean of school, and indicating that the dean of school will be a non-voting member of the board and all committees. Let's see, where are we now?
Why would you leave the starter?
Looking at section D, there was a description of the location of the facility, which was drafted in the original charter prior to us identifying the location of the facility. And so it had a lot of language about objectives and goals and being in Londonderry along the I-93 corridor. Now that we've got a location, we've hardened up that language to indicate that this is our place, this is the size of our facility. In item E, I think all of those changes are more syntax adjustments more than anything substantive, indicating the correct date for the opening and all of that. Let's see, the next significant item is in section F at the bottom of page 10, and that is the Founding Fathers Character and Leadership Curriculum, and it adds this Founding Fathers Character and Leadership Curriculum as one to meet or exceed the competency expectations from the state, and provides a bit of a description for that kind of a curriculum. Item G, Item G begins on page 13, which includes academic and other learning goals and objectives. It adds defined leadership and academic goals, including the opportunities in roundtable and civics and leadership course, community life, career pathways, community engagement committee, striving for exceeding average performance on standardized tests and mastery, etc. All of those things are built into that section G now, with some of the changes that have been made. That goes through page 14 with all of that highlighted text that we see there. Again, these kinds of things have been before us for some time now. Academic goals on page 15 are also edited, consistent with what I was just reading about striving for mastery of the skills. H, the changes in H are syntax and wordsmithing choices. In section I, beginning on page 17, for schools offering high school grade levels, graduation requirements will be sufficient to ensure that the school has provided an adequate education for its pupils. We've revised this chart based on some of the curriculum changes that we've made and the course offerings, but always indicating that they meet or exceed the New Hampshire state requirements. The changes that are in here are some of the math curriculum and science curriculum that we've discussed over the many months, and are just built into this chart in the highlighted areas. Item J is the staffing overview, which begins on page 19. And it changes again the title of our director to Dean of School, and updates the student services section to coincide with what our current practices are with respect to student services.
They cut out all the classical stuff.
that goes through page 21 into, there's also, in all of these, there's a bunch of wordsmithing choices and changing abbreviations to others. Item O, admissions and enrollment policy, is the next place where we've got some significant changes. That begins on page 25. And in that section, we've revised the admissions section to coincide with our practices, including offering new parents events to support the transition. And those changes are now built in here on page 26. On page. Little 25.
We're just scrolling through. At this point, I'm
It's
on
not like we
page,
can read it or anything. Stupid form. They're gonna have to give us a hard copy.
So there's some
And a link.
additional language in there about the sick and personal time and retirement that we strive to offer a plan, and those sorts of things. I didn't mean to kind of skip over those things in my summary.
Doesn't
They're a
even
little
matter.
more
They're not gonna let us
administrative
talk.
in nature unless
They don't care about our
focused on the charter. So now is there? Come on forward through the admissions and enrollment policy and procedure, which is O. And really the change in that one, application packages are available online and hard copy. And then on the middle of page 26, there's changes that we will offer a new parent event to
Changed all
support
the
the
wills
transition,
to
as I
May.
mentioned before.
They changed everything
And
else
that's
as
to
well
support
to May.
new parents coming to Founders.
Because of course they can't. Yeah.
Let's see, where are we now? Item S is the school calendar arrangement and the number and duration of days pupils are to be served. And this simply is an adjustment to the school time to indicate that we'll collaborate with the districts in which we reside regarding transportation services and take out the specific provisions about the exact start time and end time for the days. Questions about that? Okay. The next item with some significant changes is in V, philosophy of parent involvement and related plans and procedures. This includes a few different changes. The parent steering committee is titled the Parent Advisory Committee in here, and it identifies what their role will be, that the school dean or designee will be a part of those meetings. The Parent Advisory Committee is a board committee and will be chaired by a parent board member. The committee may serve as the communication vehicle between parents and board of trustees regarding open parent board seats. The committee will be renewed on an annual basis
such a
on
joke.
parent interest.
What a joke.
There's a little bit of other, changes
What
to some
a
of the
joke.
formal language that was in there. And then in addition to say Founders will encourage the formation of multiple parent groups. They may form to support various needs
No,
of
they
the
won't.
public charter school and its community. The parent groups may be a nationally recognized group, PTA, PTO, PTSA, or an independent group. All of that is built into that section in the philosophy.
Oh my God.
Item W on the changes.
Well, at least they're honest about
A
that part.
plan to develop and disseminate information to assist parents and pupils with decision-making about their choice. This is
Oh, no.
changes the New Hampshire Center for Innovative Schools to the New Hampshire Alliance
Oh,
of Public
no.
Charter Schools.
What
Then
a
more changes
joke.
to the abbreviation.
Yeah, Patty. Just go ahead and give more money to
Next
Patty.
significant changes are in the appendix, where we list all of our bios.
That New Hampshire Alliance is run by
Obviously, those are
Patty.
just updated because the board members have changed. In Appendix B, there is a 5-year budget. Now, these budgets obviously
I can't wait
are
to see that.
reviewed by us each year and can be tweaked and changed in this. We're impossible to pose a 5-year budget that won't have any adjustments or tweaks in it along the way. And then, I already mentioned it throughout.
Yeah, there is no budget.
Revisions. That's a executive summary, a high-level summary of the charter revisions. I think
He
if you
calls
guys
that
have been able to
executive.
review them and look through them, if you have questions or comments on those, let's open the floor for discussion. Let's also include Greg to be able to discuss the curriculum aspects of what's being proposed.
Please don't. Tell a joke.
Oh, and Cassie as well, yes, of course.
So I just want to point out that the curriculum changes that are discussed here, both in the chart, in section 5 and in the additional conversations, those are the changes that have kind of come up from the teachers groups that you guys are meeting regularly. And then those are the presentations that we've had for the last 12 months-ish of, when Chris Klein came and we reworked the history track, right? So can you just remind us of a couple of those that we're seeing in here, just so that I'm making sure that I want to tie the meetings to this.
Sure. Yes, in the past, and basically the past year, one proposal was to do a little realignment of the English and history section.
Mm-hmm.
So that is reflected in there in terms of the specific courses that are required at the high school level. The charter had it where some of those subject areas are, for example, like ancient civilizations. That's covered in our 6th grade classes. So it kind of moved some of that stuff down into the middle school where we've been having it.
Yep.
And so then it, presents the well-defined requirements of our history curriculum.
Yep.
We also have the changing of the business and technology section, allowing for the specific requirements along with the electives that are required there, as well as the allowing of a math, what the required math courses are, where we made it so that originally it was supposed to be Algebra 1, Geometry, and Algebra 2. Now Algebra 2 can also be replaced with probability and statistics. Also has the math and science elective.
And this does, I see ethics, the rhetoric classes in here, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
that was
rhetoric,
part of that.
the rhetoric class actually falls under the English
Okay.
category. It's just not the English department or the English requirements haven't been spelled out in that chart.
Okay. I just want to make sure, because we spend a lot of time, you work really